enjoy the original Cube, and I'm not alone either. It's gained a cult following since its release, and rightfully so. If you've never seen the original Cube, I extremely recommend it. Now, the original Cube came out in 1997, and after gaining that cult following I said before, it got a sequel in 2002. It's never a good sign when the sequel comes out 5 years after the first one. This movie isn't good. Okay, to be fair, there's some ideas that could have worked, maybe? Let's go over why Cube 2 Hypercube is, in pretty much every single way, inferior to the original. You may be wondering why I even made this video. You're probably thinking, I know this movie could have been bad. I could have just looked at the trailer or the poster or whatever, and I could have known it was bad. Why are you making this video telling me it's bad when I could have just known that? Well, the main reason I wanted to make this video is because I love the original. I rewatched it recently when it was added to Netflix, and I honestly did not even know it had a sequel. So, that was added to Netflix too, so I decided to watch it. Maybe I'm stupid for expecting this movie to be anywhere close to the original, but I was at least expecting it to be good, and it didn't even live up to that expectation. So I'm gonna separate this into little segments, so just, you know, that's what I'm gonna do. There aren't any interesting characters in this movie. I mean, the first movie didn't exactly have Shakespearean characters, but it didn't need them. It just needed simple characters that you could identify with and want to see get out. Also, in the first movie, no one seems expendable. Even the character that dies early on in the film actually has a purpose and helps out in the movie. In this movie, you could easily predict every character's role, and like 90% of them are completely expendable. The main character in the first movie was Worth, arguably. He was a nihilist. He was basically depressed the whole movie. In this movie, the main character is Kate, who I don't know. I know nothing about this girl except that she's nice, I guess, because she saved the blind girl. That's it. We have this guy who is an asshole from the very start, and we're supposed to be surprised when he turns on his friends. Oh, spoilers, I guess. Instead of Kazan, this time, we have two disabled geniuses. The blind girl and the old lady. You could have just had the blind girl, but I guess we have to one-up the original, so we'll have two disabled geniuses that help out. So yeah, none of the characters are memorable or interesting. So the only thing we have to look forward to is the deaths, right? Segue. Look, obviously the deaths are the least important part of a horror movie. Because if you can have all the creative and visual deaths you want, but if the audience doesn't care, it's just visual soup. It doesn't matter. But I wanted to talk about the deaths because the deaths in this movie are not even creative at all. Oh no, a spinny thing ate that guy. Oh, a weird wall of liquid goo is closing in on them. Oh man. Normally this wouldn't be a problem because you would have something else to focus on. Maybe the characters, maybe the story, but everything else is shit. So the deaths are shit too. You could either have a really uncreative movie, like a horror movie with not that creative deaths, but with a really good characters and a really good story, or you could have shit characters and a shit story with really creative deaths. This movie has both of them shit, so there's really nothing you could get out of it. We will start talking about the setting now. The cube itself in this movie is a huge downgrade from the original. In the first one, the cube is dimly lit and dingy looking. It gives off an unsettling atmosphere. In this movie, everything's extremely bright and the only color is white. This is why the movie completely fails at being anywhere close to creepy. Even the shittiest horror movies know that if everything's brightly lit, no one's gonna be scared. Even the prequel understood this, and it went back to this sort of dingy looking design. It doesn't help that the story sucks ass too. plot of this movie is overly confusing. It starts simply enough like the first film, with people waking up to find themselves in a cube. The characters aren't nearly as good, but whatever. But suddenly, we see time travel used like it's no big deal. This is a problem. I guess to mimic the sort of math problem subplot in the original, they decided to change it to time travel, kind of. The problem with that is, at the end of Cube, all the characters know how the cube works. They don't know who made it or why they were put there, but they know how it works. In this movie, they're just as clueless as you are. The movie just keeps on going. They go from room to room with no direction until something happens. It's not thrilling in the least. The reason this movie is called Hypercube is because it's supposed to be a fourth dimensional cube. It just means they have time travel and dimension jumping. That's about it. Oh, and they have some weird anti-gravity rooms, which, what does that have to do with a fourth dimensional cube? Couldn't you just have that in the last one? Fat guy dies, then the asshole runs into him again. The grandma sees the asshole killing her. You get the idea. There's time travel in other dimensions and stuff like that. It doesn't really add much. But the fatal flaw of this movie is the ending. I've never seen a film shit its pants so hard like this movie does at the end. It starts with the sex scene. Words cannot describe how shitty this ending is. Nothing is resolved, nothing is gained, and all your time has been wasted. So Cube 2 sucks. You probably could have guessed that, but not why it sucked. Most sequels fail because of rehashing the original with only a few changes here and there. But this one actually does something new. However, that's also the problem. Taking out the dingy atmosphere of the cube, not having interesting characters, and so on. All of the changes in this movie feel like downgrades to the original and not good changes. So I feel like this movie proves that a sequel doing something different doesn't necessarily mean that the differences are good. I really want to praise this movie for doing something different, but they just weren't good differences. If you haven't seen the original Cube, I highly recommend it. Apparently Lionsgate is planning to do a remake called Cubed. Really, apparently this is happening. So I guess I'll review that if it ever releases, but it probably won't, because they announced it in like 2015 and it's not out yet, so who fucking knows. Thanks for watching, and don't see Cube 2, see the original, or hell, even see the prequel. Well, I don't care, you can watch this one if you want, do whatever you want, I don't give a shit, I'll see you later. Oh, and also like and go to my Patreon and shit, because, you know, YouTube, I don't have 1,000 subscribers, so I gotta plug a Patreon now.